If you haven't already, check out Criticalist, the free speech answer to Letterboxd. Post reviews, join clubs, and join a community of nerds who are looking to have honest and straightforward conversations about film. Parental Units, this app was made with you in mind. Each review will answer your questions about language, nudity, and political leanings. Check the description in my bio for more information about Criticalist. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of All Right, Let's Talk About It. My name is Savannah. I am your host. I do film reviews and film industry commentary. This is the first full-length film review in a while, I think 2 weeks. It's kind of sad. You only got like 2 real film reviews in the month of January and then a little special Color Purple episode. January was a very emotionally draining month for me for reasons unknown, which made it difficult to be productive, but that's a me problem, not a you problem. All I ask is, hey, keep me in your prayers. But things are going to be turning around in February, and I'm not just saying that and just making empty promises. No, like there's a significant change coming, and I can't wait to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you at the end. So stay tuned, but I'm not going to keep you here super long. We're talking about Argylle. Finally. So if you go to the movies at least once a week, maybe even twice a month, you have seen this trailer probably every time you've been to the movies. Like, so much, it's ridiculous how many times I've seen this movie. And not the movie trailer. And for me, it's kind of like the menu. Last year when the menu came out, before it came out, I saw the trailer almost every time I went to the movies. And it was starting to get on my nerves. So by the time the menu came out, I almost missed it because I was just already over it before it even got started. But thankfully, the menu was just fantastic. It was excellent. So worth the wait. You know, I can forgive them for the way they just shoved that trailer down my throat. I don't know if I can quite say the same. So we're talking about Argylle, directed by Matthew Vaughn. Matthew Vaughn, from what I can gather, just listening to people, he's either hit or miss. You know, you either like his style or you don't. He's most known for the Kingsman franchise of movies. I've never seen them. And I know that's kind of crazy, right? But spy espionage movies are just not my thing. It's not a movie that I'm like anxious to go and see. Like, I've never seen a James Bond movie. Haven't seen a one. Not my thing. I know. Come for me in the comments. I deserve it. But I've never seen one. Just not for me. But I'm starting to take this thing a little more seriously. So I try to see even the movies that are just outside my comfort zone or outside of my normal. This would be it. So Matthew Vaughn is most known for those movies. They've been kind of hit or miss, but what I most know him for is the movie Kick-Ass 2010, a very young Aaron Taylor Johnson, Chloe Grace Moretz, Nicolas Cage. Love that movie. And now he's back with Argylle. So this movie stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, John Cena, Dua Lipa, Bryan Cranston, Ariana DeBose, Catherine O'Hara, Mama McAllister from the Home Alone movies, Samuel L. Jackson. So this is a very stacked cast, and I think that's what makes this movie so fun. Is you have these A-listers in this movie, these people who are making millions of dollars on serious projects, who take their acting career very serious, and here they are on this very unserious project. So this movie is about an author named Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she writes a book series called Argylle, Spy Espionage Series, and she just released book 4. We open with a scene from the book, so to speak, her giving a reading at a book signing, showing off the book, and she just released book 4 and taking some questions for the audience, and they're all wondering, how is it your writing is just so accurate. You've even predicted some events or whatever. She's like, just tons and tons and tons of research. But she's got to start working on book 5, but she's a little stumped. She doesn't know what to do with the ending. Her mom's like, it ends on a cliffhanger. That's a cop-out. You can do better. She's like, why don't we just, get together and we put our heads together? That was the phrase that I was stumping on in my TikTok. Put our heads together and come up with something. So she decides to hop a train and take a trip to visit her mother so they can work on the ending of book 5 together. Well, while on the train, she runs into this, dude who's got super long hair, dressed kind of like he's not quite homeless, but he's on his way there. And turns out he's a big fan of her book. And Well, it turns out that he is a little bit more than what he seems to be, and he's a bit of a spy. He ends up getting in a gun and a knife fight right there on the train, trying to save her life. They escape in this very Mission Impossible kind of way, and she learns that her books seem to be more than she realized, that they seem to be playing out very real events, and they need her to finish book 5 because they're looking for a master file, which is something she mentions in book 4. And they're aware of what she's writing in book 5, so they need her to finish so they can find out where this master file is, and she's like, "I can't help you, I don't know, I'm very stumped." So she just starts trying to use her brain and think like an author and figure out what steps she would take or what steps Argylle would take, this character she's created, in order to find this master file. And, they're hounding down these clues. They're being chased by this division who's after her book, and turns out they're this rogue division that's, double agents or whatever it is. We're just going to stop there with the synopsis because then we're going to get into spoiler territory, and I don't want to spoil it too much. Here's the thing though, if you were paying attention to when this movie was first announced, however many years ago, when they were announcing the cast, it was already spoiled. I was actually very sad because I unfortunately happened to see a tweet right before I saw the movie that was a screenshot of the article. So I knew what the ending was before I saw it, but I feel like it's very predictable once you go in as to where this movie is going. But here's the thing. I love to take a movie and break it down and give you thoughts on the writing, cinematography, lighting, and all that jazz, right? Some movies I feel like just don't warrant that. They don't need it. It's not necessary. And I feel like this is one of those movies. This movie is just very unserious. This is not a movie that's meant to be taken seriously. This is not a very competitive film. This is not a movie that says, hey, we're going to take some, cool elements of filmmaking and use it to create an incredible picture. No, this is a very unserious, goofy, dumb movie. Is it a masterpiece? Absolutely not. I'm not even sure if it's good. I don't know, but definitely this is one of those movies that's designed to be a guilty pleasure. You might not like it on the onset, but if this movie were to come on television, you would probably, without even realize it, stop what you're doing and watch it. Does that make sense? I have some movies like that. They're not bad movies at all, but they're movies that if they come on TV, I stop whatever I'm doing and I watch it. I have a list of movies like that. This is one of those. Almost like a train wreck, a car wreck. So is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? I think that's the answer that I can give you. I think so. Yeah, it's not that great. It's not that good. The acting is what you would expect from these actors. Again, these are A-listers making millions of dollars on projects, taking serious projects, a couple of Oscar nominated or Oscar winners in here. Samuel L. Jackson has had a steady job with the MCU for a while now. Henry Cavill is on the come up. John Cena is really getting into the acting thing. Like I feel like he's starting to take it a little more seriously. He's finding his groove really in comedy. Ariana DeBose, she's already an Academy Award winner. She just had a movie come out just a few weeks ago, ISS. And Bryce Dallas Howard is amazing. I love her, especially when she's not being confused with Jessica Chastain. But that's what I think makes this movie so fun. These are actors that we can that we trust, that we know very well. We know what to expect from them. We know that even if the ride is a little wonky, they're going to get us to the end. Does that make sense? I know this movie isn't a bit of a crap fest almost, but it's a fun crap fest. This is dumb fun. It's dumb fun with crappy CGI. Here are the issues though with the movie though. One, is too long. They could have cut this thing by like 30 minutes, but there were so many plot twists. I've never seen so many freaking plot twists in one movie in such a short amount of time. It's like that last 30 minutes of the movie, it's like 3 or 4 different plot twists. Just kept switching here and there until we finally get to a finale. And it's like, well, dang, thank God. Crappy CGI. I don't know what it is with Hollywood right now where they seem to be rushing the CGI process. We're seeing this a bit in some of the Marvel movies. The Marvels came out in November. Crappy CGI. It was just very rushed. In a project that took so long, it makes no sense, right? But that seems to be what Hollywood is doing, is cutting a lot of corners when it comes to special effects, visual effects. But then you have movies like The Creator, which is just not a very good movie in general, but some of the best CGI that I have seen in a very long time. So with that movie, as crappy as it is, happens to win Best Visual Effects at the Oscars, I will not be mad. I'm actually rooting for it in that area. But they took their time. They decided, hey, this movie really rests on this environment being believable. We're going to take our time. I don't think you a lot I think a lot of filmmakers just don't have that mindset. They just seem have this mindset of we just have to fill in the gaps instead of make it look real, make it look fun, make it look enjoyable. I'm not even sure if the cat in this movie was real. It was just the cat was just strange. I don't know. So crappy CGI. The movie is way too long. Another problem with the movie is Henry Cavill's hair. Who did that to him? Why would they do that to him? I understand he's playing a character. He's supposed to be this hot supermodel looking dude, espionage spy written by a woman kind of deal. But what woman would write a man who looks like that? Ain't no way. Dear male screenwriters, no woman would ever write a man that looks like that. She would not. No, he's not broody enough. Mm-mm. Not in a million years. So that's pretty much it. Just crappy CGI. The movie is way too long. So many plot twists. The movie doesn't seem to it's like the movie could have ended and it didn't. It just kept going and going and going. And then it got more ridiculous and more stupid. And just there's just so much stupid in this movie, so much goofy. Here's the thing though, if the last I'd say maybe 20, 30 minutes of this movie was like the first half, I don't know. What am I trying to say? If the first hour of the movie was like that last 30 to 45 minutes, I think I would have enjoyed this much more. That last 30 to 45 minutes was so goofy and over the top. The movie just took itself a little too seriously in the beginning, and then it just got goofy. Like that vibe, that tone switched so quick, which kind of makes sense with this character. This main character, Ellie Conway, she switches, she changes, she starts to come into herself a little bit, literally, and so that tone switch kind of makes sense, but it was just so drastic. I felt like they could have kept some continuity and it just wasn't there. So those were my issues with it. But other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot to say. It's just dumb fun with decent acting. It's a really stupid premise that's kind of nonsensical. At times, it really didn't make much sense. But again, this is the kind of movie where you may not like it on the onset, but in like a year or two, when it's playing on TV in the background, you find yourself stopping whatever you're doing to watch it. It's one of those kinds of movies. But in a time where so many movies are politically leaning one way or the other, when so many movies are focused on shifting and changing culture, changing mindsets, forcing people to change the way they view the world, like, I don't know, the Marvels, for instance, let me bring that up again, trying to force superhero fans to shift their perspective on female superheroes, trying to force that. So many movies are just trying to do that. This is a breath of fresh air. I'll take it. I'll add this in the category of Wonka of movies that just really are reminiscent of an old, almost, it seems like an ancient way of filmmaking. Just good, solid, delightful fun. Sometimes you don't need a whole life lesson. Sometimes you don't need to, take a reflective look at culture and society. Sometimes you just want to have fun. Sometimes you want to go on a nice dinner with some friends, family, or go on a date and then see something goofy and fun to lighten the mood. That's what this is for. That's what this is made for. So, giving a critical assessment, I don't think it would make any difference. I highly recommend if you're looking just for good, dumb fun, whether the movie's good or not, here you go. I think this is what many people are looking for, just dumb fun. All right, parental units, this is the part of the podcast where I answer your most basic question. Is this movie appropriate for my child? This is not a kid's movie, but I don't mean that in a sense like, oh my God, this is totally not appropriate for your child. But I don't see why a child would be interested in this movie in the first place. Like, it's just not for them. I can't imagine why you're 9 to 12-year-old be like, oh my gosh, mommy, can we go see Argylle? Like, there's no one in here of interest to them besides Samuel L. Jackson. I think he might be in this movie in order to attract that younger crowd because he's recognizable. That's crazy, though. This man who's been in this industry almost since around the time I was born, who has a very long career, who has made a living either playing supporting or lead character. Like, he's done it all, right? And yet he is so recognizable to this younger generation because of the work that he's done in Marvel. Like, round of applause, but tangent, right? I think he might be in there to kind of attract the younger crowd. He's someone they can trust when it comes to movies such as these. But I don't see why your kid would be interested in this movie in the first place. It is rated PG-13. There is a bit of violence. You know, people do get shot. There is blood, death, and all those things. Some strong language that's here in the rating. But for the most part, think your like late middle schooler, high schooler will be just fine. I just don't see why they would be interested in it. This really is a movie for grown people in the sense that this is the target. That's the target audience, you know, men and women over the age of 25. I don't see why anyone under the age of 17 would be at all interested in this. So I mean, I think it'll be a fun little family outing, maybe. No, not even that. Like this is not a family movie. It's a dumb movie, but yeah. I mean, I think it'd be fine for your like late middle schooler going into high school, but anything younger than that, I don't think the material here is age appropriate for them, but I don't see why they would be interested in the first place. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. Want to advertise on this podcast? Check the episode description to see how you can be featured on the next episode. Thank you for listening to me rant and rave about yet another movie. So that was Argylle, directed by Matthew Vaughn. Just to sum it all up, it's dumb fun. You know, it's a little too long for its own good. At times it didn't make sense and I didn't like Henry Cavill's hair. Hey, it's dumb fun. And I feel like dumb fun movies are just necessary sometimes. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I'm being very serious. Sometimes you just need a movie to just entertain you. Not teach you something or preach at you, but just entertain you. And I feel like this does it. You're either going to really enjoy this movie or you're not. There's no in between. That being said, what's coming up? So I am seeing 2 movies over the next 7 days. I'm seeing Fitting In on Saturday, and then I'm seeing Lisa Frankenstein next Thursday. I'm pretty sure the AMC Scream Unseen, which is supposed to be a PG-13 horror movie, is going to be Lisa Frankenstein. I can wait to see that Thursday. Like, I don't care. So what else is coming up? I mentioned that things are going to be changing. I'm so excited. I'm getting a new laptop. What's the big deal about a new laptop? So right now I currently have a MacBook Air that I got in 2017. It's a great computer if you're doing like low productive stuff. It is not a great laptop for recording a podcast or even doing any kind of video editing, which is what I want to do eventually. The desire is to take this audio podcast and turn it into a video podcast, into a full YouTube channel, and then create a separate podcast for something else that I have of interest. Like, that's the goal. Right now, I can't do that on my MacBook Air. This thing moves way too slow. And the fact is, it doesn't hold a charge. So I can't take it anywhere. I can't take it to a coffee shop. I can't, move it around my room or even around my house. Like, any slight movement of that charger, it turns off instantly. Like, it does not hold a charge. Looking at it right now, it says 0. It's plugged in. This thing is always plugged in, but it does not charge up at all. So that has to change. So I'm getting a MacBook Pro, and it's an M3 Pro, whatever that means. It's going to have Final Cut Pro on it. This thing is going to have more storage, more speed. It's going to move faster. I'm going to be able to edit on this thing, which means I can do video. I also got a new phone. So got the 15 Pro Max with more storage, which means if I want to record video on my phone, I can. Which, if you saw my Oscar reaction, I recorded that on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, my new one. Couldn't have done that on my 12 Pro. That thing, the storage was just not there. So able to expand this whole movie review, movie commentary thing on YouTube, being able to do video reviews, being able to do more commentary with video, being able to react to trailers or maybe react to TikToks. The possibilities are endless, or even going live. I don't know what I would go live for, but I'll be able to do that because I'll have a machine that moves a little bit faster. I'm excited. I'm very excited. So I should either get that today or Tuesday. Apple is saying it's coming on Tuesday. UPS is like, we're coming today between 1 and 3. And I'm like, homie, you just cleared customs in Anchorage, Alaska. I don't know how you're getting here between 1 and 3 o'clock. It's literally noon right now. How? Make it make sense. But hey, I want the confidence and the audacity of UPS in my life. That's what I need. So I can't wait to get started with that, just to see what I'm able to do to play around with it. So either way, I'm getting a new laptop. It's coming in the mail by next week. So expect at some point next week for a guinea pig video on YouTube, just to kind of test the waters and see what it looks like. I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. So being able to do more and give more and just expand my content more. Like I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to this change. This was a very stressful purchase to make. I've never spent that much money at one time on a single item, but it's an investment. Whether or not I was doing this, I needed a new laptop. Like this thing is only going to last so much longer. There's only so much I can do with a laptop that I cannot move. So clapping myself on the back. And shout out to any adult that has to make large purchases that are just very stressful to make, but you know you need it. You can do it. We can do it. So thank you to those who've been here and you're still here. I love you very much. Thank you to all the new people. We've gotten a lot more subscribers on YouTube in the last couple of weeks. So welcome aboard. And you came at a great time because I'm making some great changes and I'm so excited. So excited. So excited. I love y'all. You're amazing.